Salli ala Rasul Kareem. So, just briefly, we're discussing the chapter of Babul Anjas, the chapter of impurities. We discussed yesterday that yesterday and the day before what is termed as Najaasat Ghaliza, the heavier type of Najasat. And we told you that the heavier type of Najasat, um, if it is lesser than the size of a dirham, it is sunnah to remove it, whether your clothes, your body, or your area of istinja is soiled. If the soil area is equal to a dirham exactly, then it is wajib to remove it or cleanse it. That's not in the kitab, yeah, but that we understand from other kitabs, etc. If it is more than a dirham, then it is faraz. Your namaz will not be done at all. Right. And then there was a question about when we speak about dirham, do we speak about the weight of a dirham or the area of a dirham? Then there was intibak also that if it is if it was liquid form, then we speak about the area of a dirham, right? And if it was solid najasat, then we speak about the weight of a dirham, right? Which is about 4.53 kilograms. So yeah, this refers to any type of najasat, like whether it's urine, whether it's number two, sometimes maybe even the ladies having their monthly menses, they got soiled with discharge. We discussed in detail before, or 2 or 3 weeks away, 3 weeks ago, what type of discharge are najis, what type of discharge are not najis. We done that in detail. A certain type of discharges from a woman is not najis, etc. So if it is of the najis type, etc., then we'll say it is najasate, ghaliza. And if it soils the area more than the size of a dirham, or it's equal to a dirham, it's wajib to remove it. It's more than a dirham, it is not wajib to remove it. So we covered all of that. So then we made reference to this. Maybe I just give an overview before we look at it in the kitab. Today we're going to discuss najasat khafifa. Most of you people done this. You came across this in your maktab, madrasa. You do talimul haq, etc. Tasheel. So najasat khafifa is, in simple words, the lighter or the lesser type of najasat. And here there's more latitude. It's not so strict. Yeah, like that we say a dirham or more is not tolerable here. The greater degree is tolerable, right? And then why is this, so to say, downgraded from a najasat ghalira to najasat khafifa? All of that will come in the lesson today. Bismillah, tafadal. Read from the inshallah. يروى ذلك عن ابي حنيفه رحمه الله لان التقدير فيه من كثير الفاحش والربع منخفض. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So I told you, mukhaffafa or khafifa as opposed to ghaliza. وإن كانت مخففة. This is the اسم المفعول. خفف يخفف مخفف مخففا, right? from فعل يفعل scale, right? وإن كانت مخففة, if the najasat was of the lighter type, and then they give examples كبول ما يؤكل لحمه, like the urine of that which its flesh is eaten. That's how it's translated. The flesh, the urine of what is flesh is eaten. So what I mean is the halal animal, the urine of the flesh of an animal which is halal to eat, like sheep, goat, etc. These things, right? It is halal to consume, right? So now that one's urine. That's what we're speaking about, right? Are you with me? So this is considered as najasat khafifa, right? جازت الصلاة معه حتى يبلغ ربع الثوب. So yeah, it is permissible to read salah with it until, right, حتى معه يعني جالس معه, it is permissible to salah with it يعني with this najasa حتى يبلغ, until it reaches. The fire is what? The najasat, right? Until the najasat is ربع الثوب, 1/4 of the cloth. For the moment, just take cloth there to mean cloth, right? I'll give you the details will come as we go through. So you can see here with regards to there's the first difference between Mughallaza and khafifa, or you can say mughallaza, mukhaffafa, or ghaliza and khafifa. Right? Both come say the different scales same meaning, right? So until it does not reach one fourth of the cloth. يروى ذلك عن أبي حنيفة, and this that it must reach one fourth of the cloth has been narrated on from Imam Abu Hanifa. Carry on. Yeah. Okay. So listen nicely now. This ibarat is a bit tricky. How we say isme tori si pe cheat gi hai. In this ibarat, they're explaining to you why there is more latitude. Follow nicely. In this text, listen nicely. They explain to you why there's more latitude than the mughallaza. You understand what I'm saying? What is knowing the masla? That's good, mashallah, you understand the masla. But to know what each ibarat means, to make hal of the ibarat, to see what the author is saying in every ibarat, and what his murad is, that is a knack in itself. And obviously, if you want to get faqahat, you want to get a deep insight into fiqh, you need to understand what each ibarat and what each text is saying, especially if you want to further your studies in fiqh, etc., to become a faqihah, to become a faqih, become a mufti, and become mutakhassis fil fiqh. So listen, in this text here, he's explaining why there is more latitude in mukhaffafa as opposed to mughallada. Are you with me? You understood that? So he's saying, لأن التقدير فيه بالكثير الفاحش, because it just if you turn back here, you go to the previous yesterday because yesterday's sabak, وقدر الدرهم, the amount of the dirham, وما دونه من النجس المغلظ كالدم, right? The amount of a dirham and what is lesser than that from the najasat of the mughallaza, right? Right? And it's jazat is salatu ma'ahu, salat is permissible with it, right? So here he's saying, they were building on that because the taqdira fihi, we'll say, I'm looking for a nice word, we can say the fixation of amount in it, bil kathir al fahish, is worth a big amount. That's what he's saying. So, so what he's saying is that we only consider najasat khafifa when it is a big amount. You understood that? So you see, in the previous one, the previous ibadah saying we consider najasat ghaliza when it is a dirham or more. If it's exactly a dirham, it is wajib to wash it. That's why he's saying وَقَدْرُ الدِّرْهَمِ وما دونه من النجاة مخلل كالدم والبول والخمر وخروج الدجاج والبول لحم جازت الصلاة معه. Salat is wajib. I mean, salat is permissible, but it's wajib if it's exactly a side of a dirham. If it's less, it's fine. وإن زاد لم تجوز. If it's more, it's not permissible, right? We follow. Now they're saying here that the fixation in it is worth a great amount. Like the fixation in Najasat Khaliza was what, a dirham. Here the fixation is worth a big amount. You understood that? So there, the difference between this text and that text is, in that text they went straight and told you what is a fixation, what is the tahdid. The tahdid is a dirham, but here they're not doing that. First they're telling you it's a big amount, but they never tell you what is the big amount already. You understand what I'm saying? You saw the difference between the texts. They first said, look, here in Najasat Khafifa, it will be fixed with a big amount. What is kathiril fahish? Fahish means like big, like a lot. You know what I'm saying? A great. So kathir, a lot, and fahish is emphasis for it, right? Now they tell you what is a big amount. Now let me explain to you in the next ibarat first before looking at the kitab. I hope that is clear. I hope everybody understood it. If anybody never understand that part, please you can indicate that to us. You never understand. There is a what you say provision on the app to say if you never understand that part. If you never understand it, tell us please, right? So they're telling you that here, because it is a lesser type of najasat, we will only say when a lot of it is found, then it will be a problem. Are you with me? Right. Now, what is a lot? What is a lot? That's the next question. Now they say, look here, in Shariat, many a times, uh, 1/4 and more. 1 foot and more is considered to be a lot. And they give me examples like you see, for your masa to be valid, you must make masa of 1 foot of the head or more, right? That's one. And another example here also, it's not in the kitab, but it's mentioned, when a person makes umrah, you have to cut shave your head. If the farz is 1 foot or more, not for the ladies, you must just take twirl of the whole all the hair and take the finger, one finger length, and they come out of ihram. Obviously, not permissible for a woman to cut the hair. That's a proof also to say it was permissible for a woman to cut the hair, and they would say you must cut more. But the fact that the Sharia is restricted to one finger length shows you're not allowed to cut the hair, right? So they say there are several examples in Shariat where 1 foot and more is considered to be a lot. So here also we will consider 1 foot or more of najasate. Right? So there is والربع ملحق بالكل في بعض الأحكام, and 1 foot or more it is joined with the total in some of the laws, right? And what are the laws? وأنه ربع أدنى ثوب تجوز فيه الصلاة كالميزر. So we're going to give you some of the laws where 1 foot or more is considered to be cool. It's considered to be the full amount. We'll give you that amount now. Now let's say in the next one who also from Imam Abu Hanifa, right? They say وَعَنْهُ رُبْءُ أَدْنَى ثَوْبٍ تَجُوزُ فِي صَلَاةٍ. When we speak about the cloth, what cloth we speaking about? They say, look here, the minimum amount of cloth in which salah is permissible. For a man, what is his sitter? From below the navel till below the knee, right? So if you take all the cloth that a person uses to cover from below the navel to below the knee, if you take the entire area of that, and if 1 foot or more is soiled, then it will not be permissible to read if it is najasat مخففة. Are you with me? You understood that? See there. وعنه also Imam Hanifa ربع 1 foot of the least of the cloth in which salah is permissible كالميزري, like the lower garment. You understood that? You got it? Right. So so three things. First, they're saying the fixation will be a lot. That's the first ibarat. Then the next ibarat, they say that 1 foot is considered to be a lot. And then they say, when you say 1 foot, how much of 1 foot? Then the first explanation is 1 foot of the minimum cloth in which salah is permissible. So you see, there's three different informations in each thing. Then they say, وَقِيلَ رُبْءُ مَوْضِئِ الَّذِي أَصَابَ كَالزَّيْلِ وَالزِّخْرِيسِ. One opinion is 1 foot of the portion which that it is afflicted it, like for example the tail of a garment. When you see tail, you see my kurta here, this portion here, from here till here is called the tail or the back, right? Over the lady's garment, the hanging portion that hangs from the waist below down, that is called the zail, right? So they say you look at each portion individually. If 1 foot or more of that is soiled, then that will be considered to be what? كثير. Right. وقيل ربع موضع الذي أصاب كالذيل والزخريس. Zikhris refer to also like the sleeve. So you look at each portion of the garment individually. You look at the tail individually. You won't look at the whole cloth, right? وأنا أبي يوسف شبر في شبر. According to Imam Abu Yusuf, you take a handspan by a handspan. That means you will not look at the cloth individually, or you will not look at a particular portion of the body individually. You will just look at a handspan by a handspan. And I try to check. They say handspan by handspan is about 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. So remember, we said Najasat Ghaliza is 3 centimeters diameter. It's like 3 centimeters by 3 centimeters. Here we speak about 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters, right? So, وَأَنَا بِسُفْ شِبْرٌ فِي شِبْرٍ, right? وإن كان مخففا عند أبي حنيفة وأبي يوسف right right وإنما كان مخففا عند أبي حنيفة وأبي يوسف لمكان اختلافه في نجاسته أو لتعارض النصين على الاختلاف الأصلين. In the next text now, they're explaining what what is what is najasati. Um, yeah, correct. So quarter of the tail of the end of your garment is correct. The tail will be separate, the sleeve will be separate, the foot part will be separate, the shin part will be separate, the thigh part will be separate, etc. According to that opinion. And if I remember correctly, the fatwa is upon that. If I remember correctly, the fatwa is upon that as well. Right. So um, in the next ibarat, I explain to you what is najasat khafifa and what is najasat ghalidha. So najasat khafifa is that where there is ikhtilaf in the original text. That some text suggest it is najis, some text suggest it's not najis. So now we're not sure. So because of the text that says it's not najis, it will drop a step down from being ghalidha to be khafifa. You understood that? And those things where it is categoric in the Sharia, the text is clear, 100% clear. There's no contradictory text. That will be najasati ghalida. So see there. وإنما كان مخففا. The only reason why it's mukhaffaf in the Abi Hanifa, according to Imam Hanifa, or Abu Yusuf and Imam Yusuf, لمكان اختلافي, because of the difference of opinion في نجاسته, in his being najis. Some ulama say no, this is najis. Some ulama say it's not najis. So when there is ikhtilaf, it takes the seriousness out of it. أو لتعارض النصين, or because of the contradiction of the text, right? Right? That means some text suggests it is najis, some text, maybe for whether it's from the Quran or whether from his hadith, some suggest it's not najis, ala ikhtilaf al aslaini. And so this is, I think, ala, there's two asals. One is ikhtilaf fi najasatihi, and is lita'aruf al-nasaini. So according to both usul, each one applies their own usul, and that is how they came to the urine being what? Being najasati mukhaffafa, right? Then carry on, read the next text, okay? Gonna change the page. Like just to expand on this one, Steve, you got to take this istanzihu min al-bawli فإن عذاب القبر منها. Be careful with regards to the urine, because most of the azab, so this suggests it is najis. Then you done that incident in Usul Shashi about the Uraniyin, that when Nabi Sallallahu said that they were sick when they came to Medina, they must take the camels and they must drink the urine, etc. So there, the text is contradictory. You got some text is suggesting what? That um, urine is not najis, some is najis of an animal that is normally eaten, right? So that it drops now from being najasate ghalira to being najasate khafifa. Right, okay, read the next one. Yeah. Okay, so look at the next. They're speaking now about, the droppings of maybe anything sheep, camel. In fact, yeah, they're speaking about the droppings of any of the animals that normally its flesh is consumed, right? That rauthi means like dry, dung, etc., right? And also asna, also that word there. So وإن أصاب الثوب من الروث, if it afflicts a cloth من الروث, so I told you rawth will refer to dry dung. أو من خساء من أخساء البقري, or also type of dung أكثر من قدر الدرهم, more than the amount of a dirham, right? لم تجوز الصلاة فيه in Abi Hanifata, salat will not be permissible. In other words, this is, in simple words, this is najasat ghaliza. What is it? Najasat ghaliza. Why? لأن النص الوارد في نجاسته, because the text that is narrated with regards to being najis, وما روي, it is what has been narrated, أنه عليه السلام, that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam رمى بالروثة, he threw the dung, وقال هذا رجس, and he said this is rich, or he said هذا رجس, right? لم يعارضه غيره, and nothing contradicts it. So there was an incident where once Sahabi, I think it's Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he was bringing some cloth of earth to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam to make istinja. So he only could find two pieces of stone, and the third he brought a piece of dung. So when this was brought to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he threw it. He said, "No, this is dirt. You can't use this. How can you use something which is najis to purify yourself?" So this is a clear proof to show that dung is najis. So remember, according to our usul, we said if there is some text suggests something is najis and some suggest it is not najis, then it drops down from being khalila to be khafifa. But here there's only one proof and to show it is khaliza. So there's no proof to say that it's not najis, or rather there's only one proof to say it's najis. There's no proof to say it's not najis. So the default ruling of it being khaliza will be there, right? So we're saying وبهذا يثبت التغليظ عنده, and with this type of unopposed proof to say it's najis, تغليظ is established, right? والتخفيف بالتعارض, and تخفيف for it to be considered najasa khafifa, there must be contradictory texts, like I told you about the urine. Some texts suggest, right? وقال يجزيه حتى يفحش. So here there's ikhtilaf between Imam Abu Hanifa and Sahibain. Imam Abu Sahibain says, look here, with regards to your dung of your edible animals, right, etc., like cow, goat, sheep, whatever, that will be tolerable until it is not a lot. So they're applying the same masla of what? They're applying the masla of khafifa. So you can see, if you're sharp, you understand why they're saying that dung, etc., etc., it is najasat khafifa, and in najasat khafifa, there must be kasrate fahisha. It must be a lot before it is not permissible. لأن للاجتهاد فيه مساغا. They say, look here, to extrapolate, to apply your mind in it, there is some scope to it. You know, you can, there is, it's not a clear cut, clear najis thing. We can apply our mind and, like, try to deduce our own ruling. In other words, it's not clear cut, it is not categoric from the text. There is scope that we can apply our mind to a certain extent. And after the applying of our mind, and they'll give you the reasons here, how they apply their mind, we're going to downgrade it from being Khalida to be Khafifa. Are you with me? Okay, so tomorrow we'll discuss, inshallah, the reasons why Sahibain downgraded from Khalida to Khafifa. On what basis they said it is Khafifa and not Khalida. That we'll do that tomorrow, inshallah. Let's stop there. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdihi. La ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.